Hello, Steve Mills here. Welcome to Results and another show in my ever-increasing number of podcasts that I've done. I think we're on something like 165 podcasts now, something like that, but certainly quite a few of them. And it's great to be back as ever, sharing some thoughts. Now, today I've got an opinion, really. It's an opinion about webinars. Firstly, I want to talk to you about whether you should be doing webinars. And secondly, how do you do them and what's the best sort of software to use? Now, firstly, regarding whether you should be actually doing webinars. Well, I suppose, at the end of the day, it depends on what your business is. If you're a butcher or you run a shop or you run a pub or something like that, then, clearly it's not probably appropriate to do a webinar to try and get people to come to your pub. That said, if you run a business that's anything like, providing perhaps advice, be it marketing advice, you're an accountant, an advisor, you're someone who, basically, if you are any business where gaining the opportunity to demonstrate your expertise, to be able to show people and explain to people why they should use you rather than one of your competitors, then I really do think webinars are a fantastic opportunity for you. Now, before I go any further, let's just talk about how a webinar is and what it actually looks like. So basically, if you're not that familiar with webinars is a great opportunity to get in front of people. Now, if you think about that as a concept, one of the best ways of winning business, I certainly believe, is to meet people. To meet people physically, whether that's a one-to-one meeting or a networking event or perhaps a show, or perhaps it's just someone that you meet on a social basis. You don't physically, arrange a meeting, but perhaps you meet them, I don't know, at the tennis club or on the golf course or whatever. But the more you can get in front of people, the more chance that you've got of winning business. That's certainly a belief that I am fairly convinced of. Now, whilst it's better to meet in person, arguably the second best way of doing it is over the web. And obviously at the moment there's a lot of people using Zoom for meetings and so on, and that's great. And I use that myself. That's how I do all my online meetings, which is, and has been for probably about 3 years now, the main way I meet my clients over Zoom. Having said that, I've come across recently a new way of doing webinars. While I say it's new, what it actually is, it's a way that I didn't know about, and that is using JetWebinar. JetWebinar is, probably one of the smallest ones, actually. When I Googled it, I'd never heard of JetWebinar. And in the past, I'd used, some of the big boys out there like Zoom webinars. I've used GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, used WebEx, and probably 2 or 3 more whose names escape me right now. But I've certainly quite experienced in using different software for webinars, and so I think I'm coming from a place where I can't say I'm an expert webinar user, but I can definitely qualify myself as somebody who's used many different webinar platforms and seen the good, the bad and the ugly of all of them. Now, why do I want to endorse and recommend JetWebinar? Well, the reason being, it's tenfold really. There's several many reasons for it. Certainly, the way that the webinars are set up is really, really cool. You can either do them live or you can record them and get people to watch them live at various times of day. That's a big tick, and that's definitely a good thing. you can automate the whole process around the email delivery of the webinar, so that you can, when people register, the system will automatically send them a thank you. It will then automatically send them a reminder, and that can be set up to be like 3 days before, the day before, an hour before, 5 minutes before, literally whatever you want to do. When they've actually attended the webinar, the system will then send out a variety of different emails. Now, my own system that I use within JetWebinar sends out 10 emails, 10 of them. And it sends them out, not all at once, obviously, but it sends the one out within a couple of minutes of the end of the webinar. Then it sends one the following day, and then a couple of days later. And by the time you get to the 7th or 8th or 9th, we're looking like 3 months in advance. So as well as attending the webinar, I'm then providing information and advice and tips and a little bit of salesy stuff as well in there to try to get them into my program, which is why I'm doing the webinar in the first place. And so that's a really good thing. Now, if they don't attend the webinar, or perhaps if they leave the webinar early because, I don't know, something's come up or something's urgent or etc., then the system will know that. And rather than getting the email saying thanks very much for attending the webinar when they didn't actually attend it at all, it will send them off down a different route. So they'll get a sorry you couldn't make the webinar. Would you like to watch a recording of the webinar? Or perhaps you'd like to book on the next webinar. If they left early, it'll send them a message saying, sorry you left early. I'm sure there was a reason. Here's a recording of the webinar for you to watch. So, it's really, really automated. Now, you may say, well, do you know what? Most of the systems have some sort of system like that. For example, with Zoom.com, they have that, but there's only 3 follow-up emails, and they're like in a template, and you can't add more, I don't think. Certainly at this time anyway, to that system. So, it's good, but it's not as good. Now, the other thing that really impresses me about the Jet Webinars is that it's got an affiliate program. So with my webinars, for example, I've got a load of affiliates. So as well as me marketing the webinar through email, through social media and so on and so forth, I've got a whole team of other people who are affiliates of mine. And when somebody comes to me through them, in other words, they sign up via their link, which they get, then that sale, if there is a sale that comes as an outcome of the webinar, then that sale is partly theirs. So they get commission based on my webinar. And by the way, if you're interested in becoming an affiliate, by all means get in touch with me and I can very easily set you up as an affiliate. So there are many, many reasons to do that. Now, another big one basically is if you if you sign up to Jet Webinar, they give you, I think it's a 30-day free trial. So, that's fantastic as well. And again, I know a lot of the others do that anyway, but they do that. There is a little bit of a learning curve, I'd say. All this automation thing, it needs a bit of work. If you want any help with that, or if you just want to go, do you know what, Steve? Can you just set it up for us? I don't want any help. I just don't want to do it. I just need somebody to set it up for us. Then, yes, we can do that for you. So that's about it. So get doing webinars. Get yourself in front of people. Particularly right now, as I'm recording this, we're in the middle of this coronavirus situation. We don't really know what's going to happen in the future. But one thing we do know is you can't catch coronavirus on a webinar, I don't think. Anyway, let's get going, get using it, and good luck. And if we can help you further, by all means, get in touch. If you want any help with marketing or sales training or advice as well, go to www.stevemills.co. And if you need any help in terms of the done-for-you side of marketing, then go to our marketing agency, which is crofton.co.uk. Thanks very much for listening.